So in this lecture we are going to be talking about SOC 5 proxy tunneling with dynamic ports. There are times when you want to browse the internet privately, access geo-restricted content or bypass any intermediate firewall your network might be enforcing. One option is to use a VPN, but that requires installing a client software on your machine and setting up your own VPN server or subscribing to a VPN service, which might cost you some money. The simpler alternative is to route your local network traffic with an encrypted SOC proxy. This way, all your application using the proxy will connect to the SSH server and the server will forward all the traffic to its actual destination. Your internet service provider and other third parties will not be able to inspect your traffic and block your access to the websites. So in this lecture, we will walk through the process of creating an encrypted SSH tunnel and configure Firefox and Google Chrome web browser to use the SOC proxy. So there are some prerequisites to this, like you need to have a server running any flavor of Linux with a SSH access to your router, and you route through your traffic through it, and you have to have a web browser and you have to have a SSH client. So in first, what you have to do is you have to set up a SSH tunnel. So we'll create an SSH tunnel that will securely forward traffic from your local machine on port 9090 to the SSH server on port 22. You can use any port number greater than 1024. Only root can open port on privileged ports. So if you run Linux, Mac OS or any other Unix based operating system on your local machine, you can easily start an SSH tunnel with simple this command line. So let's define what this is. So SSH, as you know, this is the SSH command, and -n tells SSH not to execute a remote command. This -d9090 opens a SOC tunnel onto the specific port number, this one, and user a server IP. So this is your remote SSH user and server IP address. To run the command in the background, just use a -f option. So if your SSH server is listening on a port other than 22, which is the default, use the -p, which is the port number option. So once you run the command, you will be prompted to enter your user password. So after entering it, you will be logging into your server and the SSH tunnel will be established. You can set up an SSH key based authentication and connect to your server without entering a password. So in Windows user can create an SSH tunnel using the PUTTY SSH client. So you can download PUTTY in just Google. You have just search PUTTY SSH client and you get that instantly with a single search. So just download and install, pretty easy process. So then launch the PuTTY and enter your server IP address in the host name. As you can see this in here, host name or IP address field. So under the connection menu, as you can see this sidebar, under the connection menu, expand the SSH, select the tunnels, enter the port in here in this field 9090 as previously declined in here. So select the port 9090 in the source port field and check the dynamic. Make sure this is selected and make sure this is selected the dynamic radio button. Then click the add. Just click the add button to show this, and this will be shown like this. So what you have to do now is you have to go back to the session page, and to save the settings, what you have, and you have to save the settings so that you do not need to enter them each time. So make sure you save it with the name save session field in here, and click the save. Then what you have to do now is you have to select the, as you can see, select the save session and log into the remote server by clicking and open this button. So make sure you open only on clean exit. This is selected, and make sure your SS is selected and port on 22 and your hostname, IP address, and make sure you check all of this. And the most important part is make sure you save this my proxy, save, click save, and select this save and open. Then a new window asking for your will be asking for your username and password that will show up. So once you enter your username password, you will be logged into your server and the SSH tunnel will be started. Setting up a public key authentication will allow you to connect to your server without entering a password. So configure your browser to use the proxy. So now that we have opened our SSH socks tunnel, the last step is to configure your preferred browser to use it. So we are going to use our Firefox. So this will be the step. So make just easy. Go to your Firefox menu, click on the preference link or preference option, and scroll down to the network setting, and scroll down to the setting button, and then a new window will open, and then this page, this panel or page will open. Then select it will basically in default it will be auto detect proxy. So in default it will be selected in here. So but what you have to do now is you have to select this manual proxy configuration. Then these all will be blank. So what you have to do is you have the SOCKS 5 host to set as this in the field and set port as 9090. Check the proxy DNS when, as you can see, SOCKS 5. Make sure you select this, not SOCKS 4, because we are working on our SOCKS 5. So make sure you select this checkbox. This is the important part, and then select no proxy for this, and click after that, or you have to tick this button proxy DNS when using SOCKS 5, because this will be in default, this will be blank, not one will be selected. So make sure you select this one and then just click OK. So at this point, after clicking OK, your Firefox is configured and you can browse the internet through the SSH tunnel. So to verify, you can open like an easy google.com and type host my IP, and you should see your server IP address instead of your original IP address. So to revert back the default setting, so just easy, just go to the network setting and use the proxy setting to select the auto, and it will be all default as previously it will be selected in your default IP address. So there are also several plugins that can help you to configure Firefox proxy settings, such as like Foxy proxy, and in Google Chrome you can use a default system proxy setting instead of changing your operating system with proxy command. You can use an additional, such as you should use a command line. You should launch a Chrome with a new profile and you use your SSH tunnel to use the command like this. This will be the command line for Linux, and this will be for the Windows. So after using typing this command line, the profile will be created automatically. So if it doesn't exist, this way you can use multiple instances of Chrome at the same time. To configure the SSH tunnel input to which is working properly, just type google.com and check your IP address. It should be show your browser IP address instead of your original IP address. So in conclusion, we learned that how to set up an SSH SOCKS 5 tunnel and configure our browser to access the internet privately and anonymously. For ease of use, you can use or define the SSH tunnel in your SSH configuration file or create a bash alias that will set up the SSH tunnel and start the browser. And that's all about the SOCKS 5 proxy tunneling with dynamic ports.